Hey everybody, Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Fly. I think I'm live. Yeah, there I am. Okay, I'm live. I'm live. Hopefully I fixed this camera problem. Golly, I'm just having trouble with this camera. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've got a new adapter coming. I actually got an Apple camera that I'm going to be using after this, but I'm waiting for an adapter. It's kind of an obscure thing. So hopefully I'll get all this technical stuff sorted out so that it'll be easier to deal with here. So I'm going to kind of move. There we go. Okay, so there we go. All right. So basically, here we go. The Dow is off almost 400 points. So it's been a tough day. I mean, it's looking like we're in a pullback here. So I am heavily in cash right now, which it's just one of those things. I'd prefer not to be, but it's just looking at it. I have far too many stocks, but we'll go over them here in a second. So this is kind of what's going on here. I mean, it's pulling back, and I don't know. Yeah, it's the kind of thing where I'm not sure that this is the right thing. The Nasdaq's off a little bit. It's down about a little over 100. We're at 14,639 at 83. Again, the Dow, this is the one that's kind of off. It's off when this slide was taken, 348. So not looking so strong in the Dow. And of course, I moved into Dow stocks. So what do you know? S&P's off a little bit too. So gosh, just a tough one to trade today, I tell you. I did buy one that is up. Can you believe it? There's actually a stock out there that is up. And I bought this today. It's Matson Line, based in Honolulu, Hawaii. Very nice place to go. It is the only, as far as I know, it's the only domestic shipping company left in the United States. And it's out of, it's a big company. They do containerized freight to the Hawaiian Islands and all over the Pacific. Big deal when it comes to that, but it's got a nice pattern. It is moving up. We'll see what happens. It's up just slightly, not a whole lot on everything. So kind of want to show you that. I do have another stock of the day, and that is Copart, which is an automobile parts company. Basically, what they do is that they're a sort of a conglomerate of junkyards. It's actually based here in Dallas. It's funny because it's actually based really right down the street from where I am. I mean, literally, it's about, I would say a little less than a mile is where their headquarters is. But anyways, they've computerized the whole automobile disassembly business. So where they buy wrecked cars, they disassemble them, and you know what? Right now, used car prices are very high, and it does look like it's been pulling back. We're waiting for it to bounce off of the 50-day line. This is kind of where I think it might be actionable. So I'm not buying this one yet, but I'm going to see if it is actionable. There's a 3106 buy, a 13106 buy point. Currently, it's above that at 138. This is on my watch list. Basically it's tested the 50-day line, and we'll see if it moves higher. Now, obviously, we want to buy it as it reverses. That's the best way to go. I'm not in the stock currently, but it's definitely on my radar. It's what they call a consolidation pattern. Not the greatest pattern, but the thing I like about this, the industry group ranking, this is so important, 10 out of 197, and the composite rating is 99, which means that this is the top 1% of all stocks right now. The symbol on it is CPRT, Copart is the name of the stock. So just something you might want to look at. Here's kind of here's how it, it stacks up. I was stopped out of DocuSign. Unfortunately, I'm no longer in DocuSign. I really like the stock. I couldn't hold on to it. It tripped the trigger, and boom, I was gone. So I'm not in DocuSign now. I'm in AMD. It's off. Everything on this chart is red, with the exception of the stock that I bought today, and that's Matson Line, MATX. Everything. Element Solutions, that's the chemical company. It's off. Trex, this is the lumber company, the plastic lumber company. Goldman Sachs is down $4.48. I don't know. I'm still holding on to this one. Under Armour. Actually, this should be out of there because I got stopped out right before the show, so I'm out of Under Armour. I'm still in ST Micro. DocuSign, I got stopped out of that one. That should be out of here. Capital One Financial, Berkshire Hathaway, Robert Half, Palantir, and AMD. And they're all down with the exception of Matson Line. So, oh well. Oh well. You can't have everything in this life. So, unfortunately, that's the lineup. So I want to show you something that, whenever we have these problems like this, which is, a declining market, we've entered in something that's not right. What can we do? Well, in the case of a bull put spread, which we had on Caterpillar, I want to show you the chart on this one. We had this on Caterpillar, and we entered this bull put spread right up here, right? It was above the 50-day line, and then it promptly retreated. So our bull put spread became not so great. So interestingly enough, if you have a credit spread, you can adjust them midstream, and that's exactly what we did today with this. I kind of want to show you sort of how that works, because it's kind of, you think, well, if you don't get it right the first time, you can adjust it. It does cost you, but you can adjust it. I kind of want to show you sort of what is going on there. And I'm going to put this on the screen for everyone. Basically, what's happening here, excuse me, is that the original line here was the blue line. This is our bull put spread. But unfortunately, we started out here, and unfortunately the stock retreated. So it went from been from a slope of being almost positive to being negative. So what do you do in this case? Well, what you do is you move up and you move down and out. You move out, you move the expiration date on the spread out, and I moved it out to October 1st here. And then we moved it down. We basically moved the spread down $5. So we went from a 210 200 put spread to a 205 195 put spread. So we went down and then we went out. So the new line here is the red line. As you can see, that's a little, that's barely in a losing position right as we speak. And so it's on track to make money in there. Now, we did give up a little bit on here. So I kind of want to show you how that works. Initially, when we opened up the trade, basically what we did was we bought a 17th September 200 put, and then we simultaneously sold that 17th September 210 put for a total credit, and this is a credit, of 1.70, or if you multiply it times 100, that's the number of shares in each contract, you get $170. Now, this was not working, so we had to adjust the spread. So what we did is this was the original amount that we paid for the spread, but then we bought these back today. So we bought back the 210 and the 200 puts, and we had to pay for them. We had to pay, 179. We had to pay 179 here, but we did get we did get a little bit back here on the 200 that we were able to sell. So we got about 74 cents there. Then we reopened another trade, same spread, but at a little bit different strike prices, 205, 195. And as you can see, the total from that ended up to be 146. So whereas we started out with 170, the now max profit is going to be 146. So we gave up to move out and down and out. We gave up 170 minus 146, or about $24 for each contract. So we gave that up, but we're getting a much better potential of making money on this one now, because we've changed the slope of the expected value. So now, instead of this blue slope where we wouldn't be profitable until we were way out here, basically, we've now pulled it back in, and you see we're profitable almost right now. This dotted line here at about 211 is basically where it's at now. So if we look at it here, right now it's at 212. So if we look at the slope here, we'll notice this is 212. So all we have to do now to make this thing profitable, because we we went down and out, we only have to be at 212, about 212.50 to be profitable. So what we did is we adjusted the slope here. Now it did cost us, but we adjusted the slope up there. So that's one of the great things that you can do with the with a credit spread, is that because you're taking credit in, when you adjust it, you can then buy back and then reallocate it, and then get a situation where you're going to give up a little bit of your profit. We give up $24 worth of the profit, but we have a much higher likelihood now of being successful on this trade. So that is an adjustment, and you can basically, these adjustments can be very, very good, because you can end up you can end up moving your spread, and theoretically you could continue going out and out and out forever, forever and ever practically, if you wanted to. So it's it is interesting in that it's a great way to go. So let's get to some of the questions, but let me bring up MarketSmith. And by the way, everybody, I do use MarketSmith. It's available from IBD. It's not the cheapest. It's not the cheapest charting software out there, but I definitely like it because it has many nice features, that relate to that pattern recognition and that kind of thing. So it can be a very, very nice tool if you want to step up. And I don't get paid anything by them, but I do like it, and it's what I use. And so there are other ones out there that are less expensive as well. So let's get to, this is the Caterpillar trade. It's actually rebounded at 213. So now with this adjustment, we're very, very likely to have a situation where we are going to have this is going to be a profitable trade. So we've taken a losing trade, hopefully, and turned it into a profitable trade, and that's kind of the whole idea here. So without further ado, let's get to some of the questions. Let's look at Byron wants to look at GS and AMD. So let's look at AMD first. I have AMD. I got shaken out of. That's not true. I actually have a position in Goldman. I actually still do have a position there. So here's the thing. As you can see, this is where I bought. I have a little mark there. It's pulled back, but it has still. It's below the 10-day line. The relative strength though is up, and the volume is up. We're only off 3 cents. Hopefully we're gonna get a bounce here, and we'll come back up to the 10-day line. But I don't think there's any real cause for concern right now. It does, that might not be the case by the end of the week, but we still have a 100% checklist on Goldman. So I still think it's good. Would I enter at this point? No, I would kind of wait until we had an update. Never like to enter on down days. It just doesn't work well for me. I want to wait until there's an update. Basically, in all my stocks today, everything is down with the exception of mats and lines. So go figure. But right now, if I was in this, I would hold it. This is kind of how I bought. I probably bought a little bit too extended. The correct buy point was 95.44. I bought right at the top of the buy point, and then I bought extended. So shame on me. I shouldn't have done that. I should have kept to my guns and bought right there, and then I would have been fine. You see how that is? I get a little bit overexcited. So probably what I'm going to do is let this thing roll up and probably protect my position. And as you can see, it's into the end of the day. It's rolling up. No, this is AMD. Let's go back Goldman. I'm sorry, I was talking about AMD, not Goldman. With Goldman, I did buy at the correct level. So you can see right at the buy point, and then I bought right at the top of the buy point. But it's pulled back. Now, hopefully it'll get support at the 10-day line. So hopefully that will be the case. And let me pull off that so so it's easier to see it. Yeah, there. Okay, there we go. So we can see that it's Goldman. So what do I think? Well, I do think that it's an adjustment, but let's see if it gets some support at the 10-day line. I do believe it probably will. It's currently at 404. My first buys were right about 190, 390, 395 right in here, and then I did do a secondary buy. So I'm pretty much even on Goldman, at least for right now. like to be in a better situation. But if you're in Goldman right now, I wouldn't necessarily, not necessarily. Okay, yeah, I'm back. I lost my camera, my audio for a second. I think it's a loose connection or something. I just don't know kind of what's going on. Hopefully, I'm going to have this thing sorted out pretty soon. I'm hoping with the new adapter that I'm going to get. So that's kind of the deal. All right, when will the bleeding stop? Good question. Good question. I hope everybody has stops in there because it's going to get a little bit probably more dicey. We have a lot of stuff going on. We have a potential war in Asia. Of course, we had a terrible retreat from Afghanistan. I think there's just a lot of selling pressure right now. So it's a tough market to trade. I'm going to be trimming most of my positions. The bulk of my positions now are basically in cash. That's something I don't like to be in, but it's kind of the way it is. So I'll show you kind of how my what my allocation is. Let's get this in here. Going here to the small portfolio here, and as you can see, this is not the way I want to see it. So let me kind of go in, kind of go in here, kind of give my P&L here. Oops. Let's see if this will let me. I'm gonna. Nope. Right. Not gonna let me do it. Oh, good. Oh, it's view only. That's fine. Okay. So it's taking me a second here to get this up. I'm going to show you my small portfolio and the allocations that are in that. So hopefully this will be the charm here. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. All right. There we go. Okay. So now, kind of show you, hopefully, the whole thing. And here's a small portfolio. So hopefully I can get this up here. There we go. All right. So currently, and of course we're bandwidth challenged here. Yeah, it doesn't show it, but everything I have, ST Micro is up, but everything else is down. Capital One is down 1%. Even on Berkshire Hathaway, I'm even on Apple. I'm down 3% on Crane and Element Solutions. So this is not right now. Right now the market is really challenging. I mean, I'll be honest. It is it's a very challenging, market, and so the best thing to do is probably not to go too big right now. It just we're getting ready for probably a leg down. Is anyone else able to see the simulcast? I don't know if did I not. Okay, does that not work? Let me. You should be able to see this. It's on the www. It's on. Let me make sure that's the case. I just want to make sure that I am showing that correctly. It should be. All right, let's get this. I'm just going to put up the. Okay. Nope. All right. The simulcast should be up. So if you can't get it, just go to DallasTradingFloor.com, and that should bring you over to the page. Scroll all the way down, and you should see the live you should see the live right there. So, anyways, that's how it was. Comcast. Let's look at DM first. We looked a little bit at Comcast. DM desktop metal. Yeah, this is a terrible chart. I think you want to be really careful with a chart like this, as it's just not. This is just not looking good. It's got a relative strength of 3. That's pretty awful. It's below the 200-day line. The trend is like that. So this is just. I hope you're not down more than 7% on this one. If you are, I think you should sell it. I really do. This is not a good chart, and I don't think that's going to work. So I would be super careful with that one right now. Let's look at Moderna, mRNA. Let's look at Moderna right now and see what's going on there. And this one, if they do have the third shot, they probably will. There probably will be something there. But what I've done is I've highlighted the range. There's a resistance level here at about 420. It's at 401, and it seems to have. It pulled back down to the support and it's moved back up. So, right now it's trading within this range that I have here. I can't really, the relative strength line is looking good. Would I enter at this point? No. This is probably not a good, the last real true buy point was 189. It's way, way down there. So I would be very careful with this one right now. Entering at this level just doesn't make sense. Let's look at Target TGT. See if there's anything there. Yeah, it's fallen. There's just a lot of weakness right now in the market. It's fallen below the 21-day line. It's a test. It tested back here in June. It looks like it's testing again. So this, I do think this will probably bounce here. But with earnings in one day, I probably would not be a buyer at this point. Let's just take a look kind of back. Let's walk down memory lane. So the last time we went through earnings, we had a gap up. The time before that, we went up. That's interesting. Okay, so it does have a history, and we went up there. So it does have a history of moving up after earnings. Yeah, oh, there we go. Okay, so 23. Anytime you're more than 20% increase in sales, that's a very, very good thing, especially in retail. Look at that. 525 was the increase last quarter in terms of profitability. So this does look very, very good, but unfortunately the last true double bottom buy point is at 196. We're way extended. I wouldn't buy this extended. It's too far extended to buy right now. Unfortunately, not a good setup. TLS. Telos Corp. Yeah, again, not a particularly good chart. We have a downward trend. Oops. We have a downward trend. Not something I want to buy. Relative strength of 16. We are hanging on to some decent sales. We had sales increases and profit increases, but that's just not enough. 40% funds, which is good. It does have positive cash flow. Here's the thing. Ashburn, Virginia, interestingly enough, I actually many years ago sold some townhouses out there, believe it or not, a long time ago. This is a federal government play. It's a Beltway Bandit, kind of like Khaki or Miter Corp. I probably wouldn't be as interested in it. Let's take a look at kind of what is working. I've been concentrating on what's not working, and that's, I don't like to do that. I want to see what is working in the market. So right now, what seems to be working in the market and what isn't. So let's kind of look at the top ranks in terms of the industries. I'm going to put those up. Oops. Let's put this up right now. There we go. Okay. Okay, good. So basically, for the top ranks, the number one area right now, and I know this is hard to believe, and I couldn't believe it looking at this, is the department stores. Number one out of all the categories. And so this is where the money is going, the retail department stores. Why, I don't know. But let's look in there to see if there's anything that's viable. Because this is definitely, we want to be in a market where we want to be at the top of the market if we can. Right now, this is the number one sector. I mean, I can hardly believe it. But right now, it's Dillard's, Kohl's, Macy's, and Nordstrom's. Interestingly enough, they're all off of their high. I want to look at something like Macy's. This one may be in a buy range, believe it or not. This is, I guess it's because this is sort of the last man standing when it comes to department stores. Now, earnings are in 2 days on Macy's, so you don't want to buy it into earnings, but their sales were up last quarter and their profits were up, and that's really key. So it does look like Macy's is going to be one of the survivors in the in the department store wars. Can you buy it here? Well, I'm not really totally excited. It's an $18 stock, but I was looking at it back when it was a $6 stock. So it's very interesting that this would be this good. It's got a decent checklist, and so it seems to be doing fairly well. Again, I'm not, I want to take a look at some of the other ones in the group as well to see if there's just anything that we can find there. Dillard's is probably the best of the best. It's off a little bit, but it's come through earnings, and it had some extremely good numbers, which I guess is because it was coming off such a low base. But their in-store sales were up 69%, and their profits were up 887%. I don't know how that's possible, but it is. So that tells me that we are in a situation where you probably, if you're going to be in the retail sector, you probably ought to own Dillard's. I mean, as strange as that sounds, I mean, I am not an expert in this space, but you can see that there's definitely, above about 193. This is definitely buyable. Now it's pulled back a little bit today, but the relative strength is 99, and the earnings per share are very, very good. So we probably want to see if it pulls back a little bit, maybe to the 21-day line. But I wouldn't buy this right now. I'd probably just watch this. It's very strange. I mean, this is a strange market that we're in right now, and that would be really good. All right, thanks, Real Madrid, for Zim, and you've been definitely on this. I mean, I need to follow your advice here. I bought Matson today. Zim is the other one that's looking very, very good. It's looking very, very good. Now, you never want to buy them into earnings. We're 1 day in front of earnings, so we don't want to buy it now. But you definitely should have this one on your watch list. This may pop because 49.90 is the buy point, but we're sort of in this. If we could draw a line there, this is sort of a reversal line. I'm going to set an alert on it. That's sort of a reversal line. If it moves higher after earnings, then I think we may have a winner here. So this is a very, very good group. It's still, the ship transportation group is 26 out of 197. So the group is looking very, very strong right now. So, yeah, I mean, I think that here's the thing. If you're up 10% on this issue, I would keep it. If not, I would consider selling it, and selling it now, because it may pull back. I mean, seriously, the rule of thumb typically is hold them if you got 10%, fold them if you don't. So that's kind of how I would do it. But it's looking very, very good. It's looking very, very good. This is another shipping line, OOCL. I think this is OOCL. Is that right? I don't know exactly if that's their symbol. I don't know if it's traded. No, I don't think it is. But I know that's a shipping line. Here's the one I bought today. It's Matson, MATX. I kind of want to see how it's doing. I think we just went after ours. We just closed. It's at 74. It's right below there's a buy point at 79.08. This is this group is very strong. 26 out of 197. It's the only thing I bought today. And I guess it's down a little bit on the day, but this is the only thing I bought today. And it's got an improving relative strength. Now, this is a U.S.-based carrier based in, based in Honolulu. So, interesting. Thanks for bringing those up. Those are very interesting. Do you think Fastly will bottom now? Strong support. Well, let's see, Rio. Let's see if Fastly, FSLY. Let's see if there's any support there. Boy, gosh, I wish I saw some support there. I don't see a lot of. I see a little bit. I kind of understand what you're talking about. Let's go to the weekly chart. But no, I don't see support. I don't see support, unfortunately. I wish I did see support. If anything, support is at about 34. So, if you get support right about there, that's 34. Then I'm going to set an alert on that. There you might get support there, but no, I don't think there's support at 40. I don't think there's support at 40. Sorry. I think it's going to move lower. And did we just go through earnings? I guess we did. Yeah, our profits were down and our sales were up. Yeah, pretty mixed. Pretty mixed. If I was down more than 70%, 7% on this one, I'm afraid I'd have to bail on it too. I'm afraid. Thoughts on CrowdStrike going through earnings? Let's look for Jay here. CRWD, of course, is the symbol. CrowdStrike. Boy, I wish I had better news. This is kind of depressing. We've got 2 weeks to go, so if you're not down, if you're even or up a little bit, you might want to hold it into earnings. But I don't see it moving the right way. I see it lost support at the 50-day line, and this is on the weekly chart. It lost support at the 50-day line. So this does not look. It's definitely in this consolidation range. It could definitely fall as low as I think we got to kind of look at it. It could definitely move down. It probably will only move as far as the 200-day line, but there's definitely a downward trend. It looks like it's probably going to move down to about 214, and that's where it's going to bounce. If it's going to bounce anywhere, it's going to be on that 200-day moving average. You can see how it's bounced there once, and so this is definitely support. Unfortunately, it's in a downward trend. I would probably sell it, unfortunately, and just wait for a better condition. It's just so tough right now. I'm exposed to the market, but unfortunately, I'd like to be less exposed, just not going my way. And let's take a question from TikTok. And by the way, if you're looking on TikTok and you want to see the charts that I'm putting out there, super easy to do. All you have to do is go to my profile, click the link, and scroll on down, and you'll see the YouTube feed, and it's right there, so you can see the charts that I'm looking at. Question comes from GJ Maffey 504. And the question is on Amazon. And I had a spread on Amazon. I adjusted it and then I closed it, got out of the burning house. Sometimes that happens. The interesting thing about the internet content here area is that, we had this gap down here, which happened on earnings, and earnings were great, by the way, for Amazon. This is why if you don't have a 10% cushion going into earnings, you really ought to consider, not going through earnings. And the reason being is because this kind of thing can happen. Amazon is one of the best companies in the world, and they had their earnings went up 47%, and look at this gap. It dropped down below that line. So going into earnings, you got to be super careful. If you have a 10% cushion, good go. If you don't, I would sell. In this kind of market, you want to sell, wait until go through the earnings, and then on the other side possibly buy. But you don't want to go through earnings if you don't have a cushion in this kind of environment. It's just too tough. What do I think? Well, it looks as if it's trying to get support at the 200-day line. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing it possibly go lower. Amazon could go down to 28.81. It's very, very possible that could happen. So, not as good as I'd like to say. Okay, what's going on with Bitcoin? Let's first of all, I use the GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, as a proxy for Bitcoin. The reason I do is because it's one of the largest traded. They control about 4% of the world's Bitcoin, which is absolutely amazing when you think about it. And it has reversed above the very key level, the 200-day moving average. So we did have this reversal. It moved higher. It's testing the. It's actually testing the 10-day line. So that's looking pretty decent. I mean, I may be pulling some funds in here. I found out last night, and I didn't know this, but apparently in Turkey has a lot of trouble with their economy right now. Their economy, the Turkish lira is collapsing apparently, And so a lot of people have moved into dollars, but increasingly a lot of people are moving into to Bitcoin as a safe haven. I'm not so I'm a little my opinion is a little bit out. I'm still a little bit out on that, but I'm becoming more of a convert. I wasn't before, but I've been starting edging into the probably too late, but I've been sort of looking at this as well. I mean, I've been seeing it myself, and so I do think that now that Bitcoin has moved above that critical 40,000 level, $40,001, we might be in a situation where we may be in a slightly bull market for Bitcoin. So I want to kind of take a look at one of the one. I just kind of want to look to see get an idea how the underlying instrument is doing. Yeah, okay, so it's above 40,000. That's a key level. So absolutely, let's change the. I'm going to change the screen over to the Bitcoin. That's one thing that my software doesn't have is Bitcoin pricing, so I have to go out to the internet for it. But this is it. So what I was concerned about here was that I was afraid that we were going to have the Bitcoin was going to fall below 30,000. Now it's looking pretty decent. I mean, it's moving up. So how could we take advantage of that? Well, one of the easy ways I think to take advantages of it is with the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and I think that probably it's a good time for me to look into possibly putting out maybe a bear call spread, a bull call spread on this, because this is a way that we could get some nice exposure to Bitcoin. It does look like we have turned the corner here and we have reversed. This is the reversal line, and we've pulled below the 200-day average is now holding that. So this is looking very good. Now it's pulled back today, but if we get a reversal on this, this might be an entry point for Bitcoin. And the relative strength is still quite good at 93. So it's looking as if we may be turning a corner here on Bitcoin. And this is a way we could get some nice exposure to it, would be with the GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. All right. Okay. Let's see. Do you think Fastly has found a bottom? No, I don't think it has, unfortunately. I wish it had. CrowdStrike, we talked a little bit about that. Let's look at PayPal and NVIDIA. Well, let's talk first about Tesla, because it unfortunately, Tesla has pulled below a key level, and I want to kind of show you that. Tesla pulled below at 664. It is unfortunately below the 21-day line, and so that is showing. I'm sorry, below the 200-day line. So that is showing weakness. So I think it's probably a good time to possibly be looking to lighten on Tesla. Let's look at there we go. Okay, PayPal has gapped down, and it's below it's below the 50-day the 40-day moving average, and it's pulled down. So it, unfortunately, I'd like to see it strengthen up here. It does look like we do have some support at about 270 to 271 right now. So it does seem like there's some support here. But what I want to see is a reversal before I buy it again. I think if we have a reversal, we could move right back up to 300. But right now, I think it's a little bit weak. And, it's just not a buy at this point. A lot of the NASDAQ stocks are having problems right now. NVDA. And we're coming up on NVIDIA's earnings. That should be up in tomorrow. We'll see how it does. I have a spread on NVIDIA, and hopefully it will do well. I mean, we will see. The last few have been good. We'll see if it's good this time. I don't have any physical shares, unfortunately. I'd like to have more, but I do have a spread on NVIDIA, and I may be closing that or adjusting it. Just don't know. I do think, though, that they are likely to have good numbers. and it does. This is one of my favorite stocks, but we has been in this basing period, so. 1 day to go on this one. If I was down, I think we're after hours, so I can't sell it now, but you're gonna have to hold it through earnings now. But I would be, going into earnings. If I wasn't up 10%, I would be a seller into earnings right now. I would not be a holder into earnings. So that's kind of my take on that. All right, let's go. See if we have any more. We did Goldman, Neo. Yeah, Neo's a sad story. All the Chinese stocks are getting hit hard. China is getting, I believe, ready to invade Taiwan. I hope that's not the case. I hope I'm wrong, but a lot of stuff is saying that to me. A lot of things. Shipping stocks are up. That's normally not happening, and some of the Chinese stocks are down. The Chinese stocks just aren't holding on. This has fallen below $40. I think you just got to get out of it. It's I know that a lot of people have a lot of money in this one. This is why it's so important to sell it if you're down more than 7%, and then wait for it to come back up. Just don't ride it all the way down, because this isn't right now. This is an escalator. It's going down, and it's better to be in cash right now. It's better to be in cash right now and see how the general market, because it seems like the market is starting to top. And Neo is probably going to be moving lower. We talked a little bit about Tesla. Tesla has moved below a key level as well, so that's not looking good either, I'm afraid to say. All right, let's look for Raj. Let's look at Halo, Halo. Let's look at that. And another downward trend. But we just had all downward trends. Yeah, this is in a downward trend. I don't know. These biotechs are tough. It did have a nice move up here, but it's below the 200-day line. Typically, I will sell them if they're below the 200-day line. It's just how I roll, because I just think it's in a downward trend. So Halzim Therapeutics, I'd watch this one, but I wouldn't be in it. UMC, this is a Taiwanese company. Interesting company, by the way. I do think I'd be very careful with this one too, because Taiwan is in the gun sights of mainland China right now, and this is based in Taipei. And this is a good company, but this is, and even though the profits are just off the charts, I think this could be very vulnerable politically, and I think they're going to have to move some of their production to the United States or somewhere else, because we're really looking at a situation. This is one of the goals of is reunification with the mainland, and I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but with the fall of Afghanistan, I just see, I don't think Taiwan is that safe right now as a place to invest. I probably wouldn't be. Now that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin is doing so well, is because there is capital flight out of China, and a lot of it's going into Bitcoin. So, that's probably why I probably will be moving out of some stocks into Bitcoin. This does not look good to me. But at least it's in a consolidation. At least it's not a downward trend. It's sideways, and it's in a consolidation. But I'd be real leery of this one too. I'm sorry to be so negative today. God, I sound terrible. FMD. There, Floor and Decor. Floor and Decor. This is a little bit different story. Floor and Decor was doing really well. There's a buy point cup and handle at 109. It's at 112. So it's really in a buy zone right now. The question is, will it get support here? Looks as if it has gotten some support. Earnings were stellar, but there is some selling action. Could I enter the stock here? Yes. This is actually a place that you could enter the stock, believe it or not. Now, I would not enter as it's moving back, moving down. It's moving down a little bit today. It's down about $5. Let's see if it gets support at the 40-day line. If it does, and it bounces off that would be a very acceptable entry point for Floor and Decor. So, Raj, that out of all of those, Floor & Decor is the best, but I wouldn't buy it because it's pulling back. Let's see if it gets a bounce off that 40-day line. If it gets a bounce off that 40-day line, that could be a very, very good thing. So I do like Floor & Decor. Shopify, of course. This is a stock that I wish I had owned. It has just been great. I think this is still, this is a little bit of a basing action. This is a cup with a handle kind of thing. I still really like the stock. I mean, even at its price, I still think it's a revolutionary company. As they say, you buy on fundamentals and technicals. You sell on technicals. Well, on fundamentals, Shopify is a darn good stock. It's a powerful company. It's putting a lot of small businesses online. It's very, very good stock in a lot of ways. And I do think it's getting some support at the 40-day line. So would I buy it right now? Well, I would watch this one, definitely. I would definitely watch this one. As I do think that we're going to see it move. Really, we want to buy it above about 1,500. But right now at 14.79, we probably could, if we get support at this 40-day moving average, if we get support there, then we could probably start moving into it. I do like Shopify a lot. DHR. Oh, that's Danaher. Yeah. Interestingly enough, this is if this is this company, I think it is Danaher. Larry Culp used to be Danaher. Yeah. Larry Culp used to be the CEO of this company, and I actually went to undergraduate school with him at Washington College in Chestertown, Maryland. He is now the CEO of General Electric, which I tell you, I mean, I wish I'd been better friends with him. This one's looking very, very good. Unfortunately it's not viable because it's extended, but it's just moving right up the 10-day moving average. So this is looking very, very, very good. Relative strength line is 89. This is hitting on all cylinders. This is a good company, but can you buy it here? No, unfortunately, just because it is just isn't giving us an opportunity. But this is a great company, and I mean, if you did buy it here, you would just have to be really careful because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's looking like 12 days in a row. It's up. It's probably going to pull back. You might be able to buy this on a dip, but boy, in this market, I really don't want to be buying on a dip. This is an excellent company in every way and shape and form. Its earnings were up 71%. Sales were up 35%. Profits were up 71%, looking very, very strong. 51% funds. This is a good company. It's basically in the medical area. It's sort of like an Agilent. This is a very good area to be looking. This is a very good suggestion, and I'll appreciate it. This is a very good area of the market, this medical area. I had one pretty good winner in this area. It was Perkin-Elmer, and I did sell it, but I am looking for. This has been an area that has been very, very good, and so this medical diversified. Let's see if we can. I just want to look to see what's in here to see if we've got. Okay, we've got Lilly, we've got Danaher, we've got Abbott, Roche. These are all good companies. Johnson & Johnson. Let's look at Johnson & Johnson. This is definitely a slow and steady wins the race. This is in a buy zone right now. So maybe if we can't get into Danaher, maybe Johnson & Johnson is the right thing to do. It's in the buy zone on the weekly chart. Let's look at the daily chart. Yes, it's definitely in a daily chart now. This is probably going to pull back, but this is currently right in a buy zone. J&J. So this is one you can put on your list. This is a very defensive stock. I don't think it's going to be, it's going to zoom up there, but right now this is looking pretty darn good. It's in an excellent area, the diversified medical. It's sort of checking all the boxes right now. It's 78 out of 100. The only thing it isn't is the earnings per share, and the only reason the earnings per share is low is because prior to recently it was down a lot in the prices. So this one is definitely, this could be bought right now. J&J. Danaher is very good, but it's not as good a position in terms technically as J&J is right now. All right, spider puts. Somebody wants to do puts on the You know, here's the thing. I don't really recommend just doing naked puts on the spider, but what you might want to do is possibly bear puts, a bear put spread on it. Yeah, let's kind of look at how the 30 minute. You know, I would be a little bit leery about this. You see every day. You can see everybody sells back into the market. You know, I'd be a little bit leery. I'd be a little bit careful buying puts on the spider right now. I just would. All right, DAC stop limit. Okay, let's look at a stop limit for DAC. Right, Nanos. Yeah, this is Sunil. This is a good one. This is a great group to be in. This is ship transportation. I bought Matson. This is a very good one. Right, this is a very good one. Here's what I would do on this one. I would go for the undercut of I'm going to go to the 30-minute chart, and I'm going to see. I think your support is right there. So I'm going to say about 63.50 is where I would put the is where I would probably look to put the that's probably where I would look. You know, you go up that high, 63.50. Yeah, that's a little bit wide. I'm just looking at the chart here. 66 probably is where you're going to want to put it. Let me check that really quick. See, yeah, okay, it's right below the 40-day line. So I would probably put it at about 66 or 66.50. That's kind of where I would be looking. You know, that's probably where I would be looking to put it. So I would say stop loss equals about 66.50. So that's kind of where I would put it, right about here, and that's where I would put it. But I definitely think this is a nice chart. This is a good company, and right now it's in a great area. So that's kind of where I would put my stop. It's got an excellent checklist, 89%. The only thing it's missing on is the earnings per share, and I still think they're probably pretty good. Let's look. Yeah. Okay. Look at that return on equity. This is good, 18%, and we do have positive cash flow. So this is kind of a cash cow right now. So that's why people are coming into this one. So Danos Corporation, what this does is this offers, basically offers services to, to container vessels out of Subic Bay in the Philippines. Because of the increasing tensions in the Asia Pacific, especially in the South China Sea, I think we're going to see an uptick in many of the shipping companies. Matson, this is a Greek company, but it is definitely in definitely in the Pacific. So, I don't really want to see this, but I do think we're going to see this. So this is a good one to be in, and I think at 66.50 that would be a pretty good. That's going to be a pretty good stop loss on that one. All right, let's look at Roku. Let's look at Roku for Hans. Thank you, Hans. ROKU. And there we go, Roku. I'm going to look at the daily chart first and see kind of, if we have anything we can. Yeah, okay, so we've pulled all the way back down to the 200-day line. It looks like we're getting some support here, but I want to see it move above this reversal line. Currently, that I've put in here, the reversal line currently for this one is 381. So currently it's in a downward trend, and we want to see it move above that reversal line. So basically, we want to see it. We really don't want to buy this one until it moves above about 384.50. That's going to be right about here, and that's very early too. What we really want to see is we want to see a bounce off this black line, which is the 200-day line. We want to see it move above there. So I would watch this one, get ready. This has been a great performer. I've made money on this one before. I'm not in it currently. I got stopped out, but it's a very good company, and I think that again, it's sort of like you want to buy in those fundamentals, and you want to buy in fundamentals and technicals, and you want to sell on technicals only. All right, CMG is extended or slow buy. Let's look at CMG. CMG. Now, what do we mean by extended? Chipotle Mexican Grill, I've eaten a lot of their burritos, that's for sure. It's unfortunately very, very extended. The top of the buy range for Chipotle, and it's good that you're mentioning this, would have been about 1657. Currently, it's at 1869. So it's almost $100 above its it's above the buy zone. So this is very, very extended, very, very extended. But that's a good call. That's a good call that you saw that it wasn't, that is indeed extended. So it definitely has. You probably don't want to buy that one. It's just too far extended. Let's look at NVEE. NVEE. All right, and that's Professional Technical Engineers. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, I don't know this company. I'll be the first to admit that. I do not know this company. It does look like it's in a consolidation of about 79.58 to 109.39. It's just basically going sideways. It's basically $100 sideways. It's in a decent area, consumer services consulting. I just don't know if there's anything really extraordinary about this. Doesn't look like it. Here's the thing. I mean, this isn't necessarily a bad company, but I would be, I don't think it's a leader. And I think at this point you really want to buy leaders. You really, really want to buy leaders because it's getting tough out there. Thanks, Jeet. Let's look at NUE. Nucor, another good stock. Okay, this is right above, it's right at the top of the buy zone. The buy zone, of course, being from 110.50, 110.97 up to, let's get that exactly, 115. So basically, we are at the top of the buy zone. Here's the thing. This is possibly buyable. It's a little extended, but the steel group has been on fire. It's 3 out of 197. And Nucor is definitely one of the best in the group. So could you, here's the thing. This would be a great place to add. This would be a great place to add. I'm not so sure you want to start a position here. I think you want to see if it pulls back to the 10-day line. But this is definitely something that you probably could add right at this level. I think you could definitely add at this level. So the stocks look, the chart's looking very, very good. And yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely something that you want to look at. So I definitely think you could add to a position on Nucor. Wouldn't start a new position, but I could add to an existing one. Let's look at TWST. TWST. I don't know if that is. All right, and that is Twist Bioscience. Boy, I wish I was better at biosciences. These are tough because they're very binary. Either they're making a whole bunch of money being acquired, or else they are burning through cash. So this has a downward trend. I wouldn't buy this one just because I do not want to be buying in a downward trend. This has a downward trend. It did peak its head above there a little bit, but unfortunately it was rebuffed and it's moved lower. So this one has this one's still in a downward trend. So I would not buy Twist Bioscience. I just wouldn't buy it. Well, I have wasted another hour of your time, and thanks everybody for taking a look. Just want to tell you, of course, about the special Discord room. You can definitely take a look at that. Easy to do. Just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. And then I think it's the second little thing down. You can click on that. I don't think we have any spreads on right now, but I did put out if you want to get access to the watch list, that's available on the website www Dallas Trading Floor, and then I think it's I think it's the third little button down, and that way you can just download that. I mean, that's actually a link to a Google Sheet on that, but you can get an idea of kind of what I'm watching and if they're in the buy zone or what's coming up on the buy zone. Well, thanks everybody. My camera actually didn't cut out and wasn't acting up too much today. Hopefully that'll be the case going in the future. Hopefully I'll have a new adapter. I have an Apple camera, and hopefully that'll work. But until I get that, I'm stuck with the Logitech camera that I've been using. So hopefully I can get that all working. So until next time, I'll be back tomorrow, of course. Let's see, we had one last question. Just want to check. Oh, AMD. Let's just take one last gander at AMD. Kind of get an idea here. And I do have AMD in my portfolio currently. It is showing some nice strength. It is, unfortunately, I wouldn't start a new position here. The top of the buy zone is 100, so this is not a good time to re-enter the stock unless you got in originally, and I did get in originally here. You can, you might be able to add here, but this is not a time to initiate a new position in AMD. So tomorrow I will be back. I'll be back at about 2:30 or so. Hopefully, if everything goes well and I get the camera working. I'll be back, and hope to see you, and happy trading. And if you want to get on the action trailer, it's super easy to do. Just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor.